Welcome to Your Anime Senpais.
I'm John.
And I'm Richard.
And today we're going to be reviewing the My Hero Academia movie, Heroes Rising. And we saw this a couple days ago, so had a little time to kind of brew over everything. And we'll just start off with the non-spoiler quick review, and then we'll kind of go into a more spoilery kind of review. So just starting off, what was one of the things that you liked about Heroes Rising?
So non-spoilery. First and foremost,
Well, actually, did you like it? Yeah,
I liked it more than the first movie.
That's a good point because I did definitely like this more than the first movie.
Right. So yeah, overall, I would say it was pretty good. Very entertaining, especially as the plot moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, definitely agree. It was better than the first movie. I had a good time with it. I think they did a really good job. I think anyone going in that enjoys My Hero, and especially if you're caught up with the anime, you'll really have a good time with it. Right. So with that being said, not to spend a whole lot of time, let's just go and we'll talk spoilers. So,
all right.
If you haven't seen it, obviously, go away, come back whenever you have, or just let yourselves be spoiled. I don't care. So one of the things, what was one of the things you first about the movie you liked?
So spoilery things. Well, first and foremost, again, comparing it to the first movie, I like the fact that with this movie, it made sense for everybody to be there, whereas in the first movie, everybody just kind of showed up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey. Like, it was supposed to be like, what was it originally? Like 3 or 4 people that were supposed to go to that island in the first movie.
Yeah, wasn't like All Might taking Deku there to meet
It
somebody?
was like Deku, but there was like a couple other people, I think,
Okay.
Like, it made sense for them to be there at the very least. But then all of a sudden, somebody else showed up. And it's like, oh, we just happen to be here because of this. And it's like, okay. And then a couple more people showed up. It's like, oh, we were here because of this. And it's like, but this was supposed to be like a private island or something.
You're making me want to go back and watch it now because I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember this happening, but I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was really weird. But this movie made sense because it's like all the classes are supposed to be there because there's
They were doing like a training or something.
kind of like a training, but it was just they were there as heroes. And it was supposed to be a peaceful island.
Yeah, that's right, because the hero had retired and they didn't have anyone. So
right, yeah. So
okay.
But it kind of made sense for them to be there, so I appreciated that. I thought that was good. I mean, I know it's kind of like a nitpicking sort of detail, but
no,
I appreciate that. It's a good contrast from the first movie. So, what's one thing that you
going along with that? I like the fact that all the characters, even they're supposed to be there, they were given equal amount of screen time to prove that they were contributing.
Right.
Besides Bakugo, who had to defend the,
right.
just hold down the fort for everybody. But otherwise, you got to see everyone's personality, kind of throughout everything, and they were doing what they did best, and I just had a really good time with all of it. There were, nothing. There was no life-threatening situation, so they were just, learning how to help people out, and they were just, learning everyday lessons from it. So it was just fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Another thing, did you like anything else about it, or something that stood out?
Other than just the animation especially towards the end of the movie, was crazy, really, really good. I would compare it to the fight between Deku and Bakugo, or even Deku versus Todoroki during the tournament, or the sports festival, or whatever it was. I mean, just like it was. Again, just very, very well done, and I just my mind was just blown. Like, wow.
Yeah, very well done. It was consistent. Because I remember the first movie, we kind of pointed out some spots where we were like, they kind of dropped or did something weird. But,
right.
But yeah, I do remember that. So one other thing that I liked about it was, I guess it could be a con as well, but I like the fact that it took place a little past where the anime was. It kind of showed the fruits of their labor. Because Deku. Even though he's talking about, using 20% of
one for
all in his finger, and then he flicks. In the movie, by now, he's got a suit that actually implements it a little bit better, and and it makes sense. So I thought that was kind of cool. I really enjoyed the fact that we weren't going back. I guess we were kind of looking at something a little progressing a little more into the future of it. So, your thoughts on the kids?
All right, so Katsuma, the young boy, I thought he was a pretty good character. I enjoyed his character. He was he was good. He was a good kid. He was just a very well mannered kid, meant well and everything. So, he even when he with his sister tricked some of the heroes to doing whatever, he went back and apologized, all that good stuff. So, and I also have to say too, his quirk. I remember mentioning this in the theater. When these kids grow up, this next generation of heroes, they're going to be they're going to have a lot. Well, a lot. They're going to have at least very potential healers on their side because between him and Eri and I think there's somebody else that I'm forgetting. These kids are going to just be oh, you're healed, and that's obviously going to be very important because that's what they're missing right now. Is because we got the one old lady that when she kisses you or whatever, she she heals. Yeah. But I remember her talking. I think it was first season maybe or second season where she was basically telling Deku you can't push yourself this hard because I can only heal you so many times or whatever.
Oh,
It's kind of made me think that she's the best healer, and even with her healing, she's not able to keep up with the damage that he's doing. Of course, Deku's kind of a special case, but even still, it's comparing to this upcoming generation, I feel like they're going to have a heck of a lot of good healers.
Now, was his ability cell manipulation or was it just regeneration? I kind of wondered about that because I wondered if it's manipulation, if he could actually turn it into a weapon.
See, I don't know if it's manipulation. I know they said something about cell activation or something.
Maybe that's what it was.
But I'll look it up here in a second. But,
yeah.
But yeah,
So as far as the kids go, Katsuma was the one you liked, and the other one you just found kind of annoying.
Yeah. so that was definitely the other thing. His sister Mahoro. I mean, I get it. They're kids, whatever. But at the same time, she kept trying to push the hero's buttons a lot. If I were Deku, Deku's got a lot of patience. I don't think I have that kind of patience. If I was I would probably have been more like Bakugo, to be honest with you. You're pushing our buttons. You're sitting here trying to mess with us. We're trying to keep the peace, and you're doing all these different things. Of course, that kind of came back and bitter in the end because when the villains actually did start attacking,
no one would listen to it. They're oh,
well, Deku.
Well, Bakugo was the one that was well, you again?
Yeah, it's
about
exactly.
Hung up on her or whatever.
Right. So hopefully she learned an important lesson from that. But at the very least, at the start of the movie, I was just kind of I'm not really feeling this character right now. So it's just I don't really like her at all.
Yeah.
But I can tell that she does care for her brother and her family at the very least. So I'll give her credit. She's not evil or bad or anything. She's just she was misguided. I guess.
She didn't think heroes were anything special, as far as I remember. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of felt the same way. She learned that lesson because of how much she just kept crying wolf or kept testing them. And her quirk was kind of neat, to create illusions.
Right.
I think in the future that might, kind of like a Mysterio kind of thing, create illusions to where you just fool someone into thinking there's someone else or somewhere else.
But she didn't seem too interested in being a hero herself. But that could always change. That could always change. So.
But and so I guess maybe we'll talk about the villains.
Okay.
So Nine and Slice, Mummy, and Chimera. What did you think about them?
So, as far as the other, taking out Nine for a second, as far as the other ones go, I thought Chimera was way overpowered. Where did he come from? It's
I did think that because I was he seems to be posing more of a threat right now
than
than
anybody else.
Nine.
Yeah.
Because Nine was just so apathetic. Like, he was just, just Katsuma. That
Right.
he didn't really care.
Yeah.
And, Chimera was like a threat.
Yeah, he was definitely I mean, overall, obviously Nine is more of a threat just because of his quirks, but
Yeah.
Chimera kind of almost seemed like he had multiple quirks himself too. I mean, he's Chimera, which I guess would make sense, but it's like, he was like this wolf type guy at the start, and then all of a sudden he can shoot out flames. Okay, I guess, whatever. Oh, and by the way, he's also stupidly strong. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, couldn't freeze them.
Right.
I mean, all these different things they did.
Yeah, exactly. They kept throwing all these different things at him, and it's just like, oh, well, I'm just going to overpower that somehow, and just kind of was like, kind of seemed like a little out of left field. It's whatever, I guess. But moving on from him, Slice, I thought she was a very interesting character. I liked her quirk. We talked before this video. I thought her voice actress was somebody else, a veteran voice actress, but turns out she's completely brand new voice actress. Just the way her voice was, seemed very similar to I can't remember her name, but she voiced Ava from Umineko. She was like Aunt Ava or whatever. But anyway, she's done a lot more than just that. But
when Slice first showed up in the movie and she did her huge attack with her hair or whatever, there was a moment where I was like, she seems a little overpowered, because at first I was like, well, if she could do all this damage all at once, they're gonna have the hardest time with her.
Right. And
then it just turned out from the rest of the movie, she never had that overwhelming ability. She would direct it, but it was never enough to just overwhelm anyone that I noticed, because she had really good defense as well though with things. But
when she was fighting in the cave with against the other two, she was definitely holding both of them back pretty well, I thought. Anyways, or
maybe she didn't have the killer instinct that Chimera did, the aggression, but. It just, I don't know. It just seemed like she started so strong, and I was like, wow, she's gonna be something to reckon with. And then it was like, not as much.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, well, maybe that's the way I viewed it.
Right. Well, I mean, I thought she was a sufficient challenge. I mean, again, she held her own in that cave. The only reason why she lost is just because the fact that Tokiyami just kind of went berserk, because she took down. Ashido, Slice was shooting her hair at Ashido, and then she was kind of backflipping or whatever, but eventually she.
That's right, she did hit her, yeah.
Yeah, and then, of course, then Tokiyami just kind of went berserk or whatever, or Dark Shadow. And, so yeah, that's pretty overwhelming. Because we saw, of course, when he goes berserk, it's really hard to control unless you put sunlight on them or put some kind of light on them, which eventually that did happen. But by the time that happened, it pretty much took all three of them out all at the same time. So, but that being said, it took all that just to take her down. And although to be fair, it did take a lot to take down Chimera as well. So
it took. Way too much.
Mummy actually was the only one that seemed pretty easy to take down.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how underpowered. I mean, he had a really good ability.
Right.
I guess would he used it better? But yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean, he was going up against Bakugo.
And
honestly, even then, even without Bakugo, they should have still been able to take him down. But whatever. Really, you just got to cut off the threads or tape or whatever it was that he was using. So, now as for Nine, what I want to say about him is I remember reading something about how the author was saying that this final battle for this movie was actually supposed to be used for the final battle of the series. And you can really kind of tell, because if you just copy or if you remove 9 and add in all for one, that would make total sense.
He almost literally was an all-for-one ripoff.
Pretty much, and they said it multiple times. They'd be like, "Oh, he has multiple quirks. Oh, just like for all for one. Oh, he's got multiple quirks. Oh, just like all for one." It's we get it. He's like all for one.
Yeah, only he has that one defect where it's hurting him to do all
right, that. Right. Which actually, all for one, I think also has kind of a similar problem, right? Because he's got some health issues or whatever, and he's not able to.
Yeah, he does have health. I can't remember what all it is. I mean, dude don't even have a face. Right. I don't know what's all going on with him.
But he was like hiding out because of his final battle, or his, not his final battle, but his I guess second to last battle was All Might. Mm-hmm. They both got really injured or whatever.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I can see this like as all for one, searching out for somebody with a healing quirk, and although it's kind of surprising why he didn't already do that, but whatever.
I thought it was interesting how 9 could actually detect people's abilities.
Right, yeah, that was pretty cool.
And quirks and things like that. And there was even a moment I thought was kind of strange. I think he was detecting or reading Deku, and he was something. Maybe I'm wrong, but didn't he say something to the effect of, "Wow, he could actually control 2 quirks"?
I don't remember him saying that. I remember him saying something like, "Oh, it's a super quirk or something."
Yeah, I know he identified it, but yeah, it was something. I don't know. Maybe it was just something weird, or maybe I just misread it. But I was just like, "What?" There's something really strange about what he was hinting at toward Deku. But...
Right. So with all that being said about 9, my biggest, of course, I guess this can go for just about any villain, but my biggest complaint about him is the fact that he could have just as easily taken out Deku and Bakugo and everybody else for that matter pretty easily, and then just like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get Katsuma's power, yeah. And just like, oh, there, thanks. And now I can actually do the things that I need to do. Because, like...
He didn't really need his, all those other people. I mean, to me, it just seemed like if he would have had a little more initiative... Right. Because he was so just apathetic and just
right. It's like, this person's standing up in front of me. I'm just going to push him aside while I go after this kid. It's like, no, just, you're a villain.
Yeah.
Just kill him.
Just go do it. Go get him. To me, he was kind of dry in that manner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. Because, yeah, at times I was like, I get it. You're trying to show off. You got all these shields and, you can
but you got the little laser beams. You could just cut up Deku and cut up Bakugo, and that'd been done. I mean, granted, he did use the lightning pretty effectively, and I'll give him that. Mm-hmm. And maybe he thought that with just that he would be able to take him down. But, okay, you shot him with lightning now. Just like cut them up, and then be sure that they're actually dead, and then go after. Like take out all your opposition, and also too, like when they were like, when 9 and the villains were going to the remote island fortress or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. It's like they were 9 said something like, yeah, we could just walk in there, it's fine, I don't care what traps they have set up.
Yeah,
it's like that seems like the worst idea.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things I didn't really care for. I mean, I know we were kind of mixed about the last fight because I wasn't a fan of the last fight. I do see what you're saying, though, about that one quote saying this was almost a end of the series type move.
Right.
Because whenever he was like, well, I need to give Bakugo all for one, I was like, are we really doing this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
See, that would probably be my only complaint. And it's also one reason why I'm glad they did it for this movie instead of the actual end of the series, because I don't hate Bakugo, but... Really? Give him all for one? Like, have him be the successor? I don't know about that. But
just because he held the secret.
Kept the secret or whatever. And again, I don't have anything against Bakugo. So Jackie, if you're watching this, I really don't have anything against him. But yeah, no, I don't really think he should be the successor for one for all. All for one, on the other hand, I definitely think he should be, but that's my own personal theory. But in any case, that all that aside, we do have different opinions, because for me, like the first half of the movie, I thought was kind of slow and boring. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was nice that they were doing peaceful things or whatever, but really for me, when the villains came and attacked, that's when things really started getting interesting for me. Things started getting interesting.
And really mainly for me, it was the last fight that really just turned me off from the movie. I was like, what? did they go Super Saiyan? What was all this? All of a sudden,
Well, they
all for one or one for all just became this amazing superpower. And don't get me wrong, I know it is.
yeah, I was gonna say it kind of
But
is.
whenever at one point, whenever Bakugo has this power, he can just like touch things and just melt them. He becomes almost like that element.
Right.
And it seemed like Deku was almost floating on lightning. And I was just
Well,
like,
but he was doing that.
what?
He was doing that in the series too.
Floating on lightning?
Yeah, he did that against
Oh.
Bakugo. Because remember, he tried to kick Bakugo, and Bakugo just barely moved out of the way, but you could still see the lightning reflecting off his. And I'm pretty sure there's another fight that I'm missing too. But yeah, that's totally from the series.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I saw that and I was like, what are we doing right now? Because it was just so much.
I see. For me though, the last fight I thought was actually really well done. Yes, I didn't care much for the fact that Baku had all for one or one for all, but just again with the animation looking really well done. They especially like the last 5 minutes when they removed all the sound effects, all the other voices. It was just you had the animation, you had the music, and that's all was needed. And you really don't see that much, all that much these days. Like usually there has to be some sort of dialogue or whatever. It's just no. Now I'm just witnessing a piece of art. So
yeah. Another thing I guess was Nine didn't seem like the type of villain that would push somebody that far. Maybe I just thought it was kind of a waste. I mean, I know he was in this really desperate situation. Right. He wanted to really save Katsuma, but knowing that out there in the world there's a drug that could actually just take away someone's quirks, I think they might have been safer just trying to, hide or flee or, do something with Katsuma and just, keep him away until, Endeavor showed up. And
well, I mean, but how long would it take?
Yeah,
and actually
that's true too.
That's actually one thing about this movie. I actually just now thought of that. As compared to the last movie, of course, it's been a while since I watched the last movie, but the stakes seemed a lot higher because they were just by themselves. The Class 1A was by themselves. There was no All Might to save them. There was no...
And that's kind of why I get that, Deku felt he was, life or death. We need to, I need to do this to save him.
Right.
But I know he can really plan and make up plans and things like that. So I was like, well, why didn't he just come up with a better plan to, draw out time or keep moving Katsuma? Because that's really all the apathetic Nine was wanting, and he would have probably just walked all over the whole island until they showed up. But
I don't know if it would have gotten to that point.
And there was even a moment where I was like, well, if it's not going to kill the kid, why not just let him have it? And even if he's in this perfect state, there's always that drug that just takes away all the quirks. And
could they even get to him to do that though?
Well, just throw Airy at him and bloop. Just
that's a good idea. Just throw this random kid who doesn't even want to fight. He's already been through.
Just have her walk up to him and just touch him or do whatever, and
I don't think that's gonna be.
I don't know.
I don't think that's gonna work.
I think there was something they could have done, or just caught him off guard and shot him. But I don't know. I think there was more options, but for what the situation called for, sure, it was good. And
well, again, I'm glad they did it for this movie instead of the actual series, because the author did say that now I'm gonna have to think of something even better. So hopefully he does, and hopefully it totally just blows our minds.
Now there was a small degree where I was like confused as to why Bakugo didn't keep One for All. Because once he woke up and realized that he couldn't remember anything happened, evidently that canceled it?
No, he said something, All Might said something along the lines of Bakugo passed out or something before
it finished or something?
Before the transfer finished. Something along those lines. Which I think that would make sense, because didn't Deku have to do something similar? Because he ate...
He ate the hair. I thought that was all he had to do.
But there was something else beyond that, though, because he ate the hair, and then
I don't know. I just remember.
I got to watch the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I just remember All Might telling him, "Well, you need to find a way to ingest some kind of whatever DNA or something. I don't know, something weird almost had to be a deliberate like here, injustice or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, it was some kind of weird thing to it. But I just thought, well, wait a second. So if Bakugo just don't remember it, didn't I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird how that just kind of
didn't really honestly
matter.
Honestly, him not remembering or not remembering didn't really matter to me. I mean, it's like,
yeah,
it's whatever. I mean, I don't know why that had to be a thing, but again, it doesn't really matter because it's just a movie. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll ever affect canon. I mean, it would be kind of interesting if it did, but I don't think it will.
The thing is, though, I think the first movie is supposed to be canon because you had the one girl that showed up during the actual series, and then she's also in the movie too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, for me though, doesn't really matter. For what it was good.
Yeah,
But
overall, it was really
was
enjoyable.
it the best movie ever?
Well, I mean, when you only got 2 movies to choose from.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but anyway, that's
I think that'll be it for me too. So, guys, have you watched the movie yet? And if you have, what did you think of it? Let us know down in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this review, definitely subscribe to our channel, like this video, hit that notification bell to keep up with our content, and check out our Patreon. We'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video.